Hi, welcome everyone to another video on this channel. As you may know, the fixtures for Double Gaming 22 are confirmed, so if you wanna see who are the best teams and best players to target for Double Gaming 22, make sure you stay here. Okay guys, so as you can see from the screen, the Double Gamings are confirmed for Premier League Gaming 22. As you can see down here, we have 8 teams who are gonna have a Double Gaming in Gaming 22, so at least we know that for sure these teams are gonna play 2 games. Obviously, it's still pretty early, we are still 8 days till deadline, so I think that still the best advice I can give you is to wait as much as possible, to get as much information as possible, because we don't know what's gonna happen in the future. We know that these double gamings are confirmed, but obviously, as we saw before, Liverpool Arsenal in the EFL Cup was postponed, so that's why probably Liverpool and Arsenal are not gonna double in Gaming 22, so they are gonna have a single gaming. So still getting some more information is the best way to do it, and I would suggest you try to do that before making your transfer. But here we have the double gamings. I selected some teams I think that you should target for this double gaming, and as obviously as you can see, Spurs, Manchester United, Burnley, Watford, Leicester. Brentford has a double gaming in Gaming 22, but they're gonna play against Liverpool and Manchester United, so it's not ideal. Maybe Manchester United is not that tough, but still I don't really want to target players from Brentford, right? So Brighton, also Chelsea and Crystal Palace, two pretty tough games from a defensive perspective, because they are defending pretty good. Okay, Brighton are also defending pretty good, but I don't think that Brighton players should be your priority at the moment. Burnley, we can say that this double game mix is decent. Watford and Leicester didn't keep many clean sheets this season, and they aren't defending at their top level this season. But yeah, also the problem is we don't really want to target players from Burnley, but I don't mind it. I think that Lowton, maybe a cheap defender like Taylor or maybe even Wood, could be a nice option here from Burnley. Leicester are gonna play against Burnley and Spurs, so Spurs is gonna be tough because they are defending pretty good, but Burnley is a good fixture always, so I think that someone like Madison maybe, but we're gonna talk about more players in the next part of the video. So Manchester United, Aston Villa, Brentford. Manchester United maybe with one of the best double gaming so far, so Villa and Brentford are decent fixtures. Villa is not ideal because also they are defending pretty good under the new manager Steven Gerrard, but always it's gonna be a good fixture for Manchester United. Obviously they are not playing really good at the moment, but maybe they can turn that up. So Spurs with Arsenal and Leicester. Obviously so many people already own someone like Son, I don't know, Kane, maybe you have a defender, maybe you have Lloris. So Spurs players, we knew that before, they are gonna have some double gamings in the future because they missed so many games already. And Watford maybe with the best double gaming so far. The problem is we don't have many options to pick from Watford, right? But Newcastle and Burnley probably is the best double gaming in Gaming 22. And Chelsea, if you have some Chelsea players, maybe you want to keep them, but obviously I wouldn't try to buy them at the moment because after that they are gonna blank. So Manchester City and Brighton, two pretty tough fixtures from an attacking perspective, but yeah, for clean sheets maybe against Brighton could be okay. Against City obviously it's gonna be tough, but yeah, as you can see here we have also some teams who are gonna have just a single gaming, but that's the thing, because what we should do, we should free hit this gaming or we should keep our chips for later, because the thing is we shouldn't unconsider this fixture, because if you have players maybe from Everton, Liverpool, as you can see they are going to play against Norwich, Brentford, even West Ham, maybe you have some players like Kufal, maybe Antonio, maybe Bones, so I think that keeping them and not using your free hit could be also a nice alternative. And yeah, that's because obviously if you, so many people own players like Diogo Jota, let's say, okay, maybe you don't have players from Newcastle, but still if you have them against Watford away, maybe it's a good single gaming. And yeah, if you have Jota or someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, you can easily say that Trent or Jota or even Calvert-Lewin could easily outscore a double gaming player, right? So when we think about what should we do with this gaming, we should use our free hit, we should use our bench boost maybe. I think that we should take into consideration that I think that so many people already own, I don't know, a Chelsea defender maybe like Alonso, Rudiger, Jota, Trent, as I said before, maybe you have Gray, maybe you have DCL, so maybe we should take that into consideration, and maybe free hitting this gaming is not the best alternative, but obviously it pretty much depends on your team, on your plans, and obviously on your team structure. So right now let's see who are the best players to target for this double gaming. Okay, so in this part of the video, as you can see from the screen, I picked one of the best players you can pick for this gaming 22, in my opinion at least. Obviously you need to take into consideration that still the next gaming is far away, 8 days I think, so still so many things can happen, so many games can be cancelled, maybe some other double game weeks are gonna be confirmed, so who knows. But from what I know so far, maybe if you wanna free it, maybe if you wanna usual bench boost, maybe if you wanna target some players for this double gaming 22, I think that these are the best options at the moment. So from Spurs it's pretty easy, obviously. Son and Kane obviously are the best picks from Spurs. Reguilon, Dyer, maybe you have Lloris. In that case, maybe you don't want to double up with Reguilon. Obviously there are still some other alternatives. Maybe you can go for Davis in defense, maybe you can go for Sanchez. So there are so many alternatives. Obviously for a double game week I prefer to captain Harry Kane instead of Heung-min Son, but it depends on your team strategy. Personally I have Son in my team, so I'm not gonna try to rip off my team to buy Kane, but it depends all of your team structure, so that's the thing. But yeah, Spurs are gonna play against Arsenal and Leicester. Against Arsenal is gonna be tough because we know how good Arsenal are playing at the moment, how good they are defending and also how good they are attacking. Against Man City they should have won that game, they were the better side. So yeah, I was really impressed by Arsenal, to be honest with you, and it's gonna be a tough game for them, but still they are gonna play also against Leicester. So these two games are pretty decent. If you have some Spurs players, I think that you're pretty happy with them. I don't think that you should use a triple up. Maybe on a free hit maybe you can have 3 players from Spurs, but otherwise I wouldn't triple up. From Manchester United we have Ronaldo and De Gea. Honestly Dalot should have been on this list, but I have Dalot personally in my FPL team and I'm not sure if he's gonna start anymore. I don't know really why that's the case, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka didn't really impress in the last 2 game weeks, so I'm just hoping that Dalot can play some games, but at the moment I'm not gonna include him in a player to target because he didn't play the last 2 game weeks. So Ronaldo and De Gea, sorry, realistically are the best option from Manchester United, and also Ronaldo didn't look really good in the last game weeks. Honestly I wouldn't go for him, but maybe if you have him, or maybe even we know that Manchester United have one of the best double game weeks, so on a free hit probably Ronaldo would be in my team also alongside Kane. Maybe Aston Villa is gonna be not ideal, but still Brentford away, so these fixtures are pretty good for Ronaldo. I wouldn't go for a midfielder from United, as I said in my latest videos. Rashford, Greenwood and Sancho are too much of a rotation risk, and we don't know how much minutes they are gonna play, and they didn't really look good in the last game week, so there is a mess at Manchester United, so that's why I wouldn't go for so many players from Manchester United. But with De Gea and Ronaldo, you know that they are gonna get some good amounts of minutes. So from Burnley, realistically you don't really want to target players from Burnley, but this is a double game week, so why not? I mean, if you can go for a cheap defender, maybe you need to spread the cash elsewhere. Lowtown and Taylor I think that are perfectly good options. Also Burnley missed 4 games already, so they are gonna have some double game weeks in the future. That's another good reason to buy a Burnley player. Personally I wouldn't go for Wood because I think that there are some better forwards alternatives at other clubs, but Lowton and Taylor, I prefer Lowton, but both of them are pretty decent at that price. And Watford with the most interesting double game week in my opinion, at least, against Newcastle, one of the worst defense in the Premier League, and also Burnley. I think that this is the best double gaming. So the problem with Watford is we don't know so many options to pick from. Realistically just King and Dennis are the only 2 players I would look to bring in. Probably I'm gonna look to bring in King into my team if I'm not gonna use my free, because yeah, I just prefer King. He's on penalties. The thing is, Dennis is not gonna go anymore to African Cup of Nations, but he was subbed off at halftime in the last game, so at the moment we don't know exactly for sure how bad is his injury, but obviously if the coach is gonna say that Dennis is fine for this double gaming, then he could also be a great option. He outscored King in the last gamings, I think. So yeah, from Leicester they are gonna play against Burnley and Spurs, so a pretty decent gaming in my opinion, at least. Burnley is a nice fixture always, and Spurs is not gonna be easy, but we know how good Leicester played against Liverpool. They defended pretty good, so yeah, I think that it's worth targeting some Leicester player. I wouldn't double up or triple up because in the near future the fixtures are horrible for Leicester, but for this double gaming maybe you want to take a punt, maybe you want to go a little bit different. So Maddison, still, if you have enough cash, I think that he's the best option, attacking option from Leicester. You can go for Tielemans if you don't have enough money, or if you prefer him, because Vardy is gonna be out for a month, so we know that Tielemans performance is on penalties from Leicester, and yeah, I think that he could be also a great option. Thomas in defense, if you want to save up some cash, if you want to go different in defense, I think that he's 4.7 million, so he's really cheap. He played the last 6 games for Leicester, 90 minutes, so he could be a nice alternative, but the problem is Leicester aren't really keeping so many clean sheets, so yeah, but obviously after that you don't need to play him every game week, right? So also Barnes could be a nice option. I don't know if he's 100% fit to play in these game weeks, but also Lookman could be a good option. I think that he's not gonna go to African Cup of Nations, so in that case, with Vardy out, Daka out, and Iheanacho going to African Cup of Nations, I think that also Lookman could be a decent shout, but yeah, it depends how you want to play this. And the other 3 teams with a double are Brighton, Chelsea and Brentford. Personally, I wouldn't target any Brentford player because maybe you don't want them long term, and this double gaming realistically is not okay. I much rather prefer having Jota instead of Tony. For example, Jota is going to play against Brentford and Tony is going to play against Liverpool United. Okay, you can say that they have 2 games, so more chances to score goals, but honestly with those players like Cancelo, Trent, we know that they can outscore a double gaming player, right? So personally I wouldn't go for a Brentford player, but if you really want to go, maybe Tony obviously is the best pick from them. He's on penalties, and if you want to buy a defender, although I would suggest you to try to not buy a defender from Brentford against Liverpool and United, Pinnock probably is the best option. With Brighton the same. I think that targeting Brighton players should not be a priority for us at the moment because we have some better teams to target. They're gonna play against Crystal Palace, so Crystal Palace are not the best defense in the Premier League, but they are defending pretty good at some times, and with Chelsea we know that they are defending really good, so for attacking returns that's not a great double game week in my opinion. At least 4 clean sheets maybe against Crystal Palace. We know that they got a draw against Chelsea in the last game week, so we know that they can defend really good Brighton. So obviously if you have players like, I don't know, Sanchez, Cucurella, Trossard maybe or Lamptey, you don't need to sell them because they're gonna have a double game week, and we know that Brighton are a really good defensive side in the Premier League. So realistically I wouldn't buy at the moment Sanchez, Cucurella or Trossard, but if you really want a Brighton player in the next game week, and also the fixtures long term are pretty decent, they have some games also to be rearranged, I think that Cucurella at the moment is the safest option because we know that Lamptey is not gonna play every game week. His minutes are managed, and I think that Cucurella with just 0.5 million more expensive than Lamptey is worth the money. And the last team is Chelsea. Obviously we have some players from Chelsea right in our teams. Personally I have Marcos Alonso, and I'm really happy about that because he's gonna have a double game week, and I don't mind playing him against Manchester City and Brighton because I'm expecting for Chelsea to try to keep a clean sheet against Brighton, and also I don't mind playing him against Manchester City. I think that is gonna be a really tough game for both teams, but I can see easily that game ending up 0-0, so that's the thing. Alonso, Rudiger, maybe if you want to free it, maybe you want to buy some players from Chelsea like Alonso or Rudiger, or obviously you need to keep them. In attack you can buy someone like Mount, but honestly from an attacking perspective I don't think that targeting an attacking player from Chelsea is the best idea. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider leaving a like or subscribe to this channel if you're new around here. It would be really helpful for me and I really appreciate it, and also please let me know about your opinions in the comments down below. See you next time.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.